Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds Podcast. I'm your co-host, Puma Gato, the cat that hands your highlight back. And to my left over here is the main man, Jesus Dinero, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die. Deadly ideas, brother, and spicier content than your girl's OnlyFans. What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And with that, let's get right into it. So, we just watched Gervonta Tank Davis knock out Frank the Ghost Martin. And listen, it was a spectacular fight. Frank has nothing to be ashamed of. He fought like a boss in there, despite what the official cards had, because the official cards had Gervonta Tank Davis ahead by literally 1 point, but it was unanimous amongst the judges. I actually had Frank Martin winning most of the rounds, with an exception here and there. But listen, we all saw what happened. Gervonta knocked him out. And if you go back and watch our final prediction video, Gervonta knocked out Frank exactly how I said it was going to happen in the exact same round that I said it was going to happen in. So listen, Frank fought a great fight. He fought very strategically. He had great foot movements. He had great, phenomenal counters. I think he was fighting a dirty boxing just a little bit, which I think was the perfect thing that he needed to do. He was clinching in all the right moments when he needed to clinch. To be honest with you, I don't know if there's anything that Frank Martin could have done differently that would have made it better. Again, I thought he was doing great. But, you know, when greatness runs against another great boxer, we really see who shines. And here's the thing. The one thing that I said, and even the commentary crew after the fight said exactly what I said before the fight even happened. The boxing IQ of Gervonta Tank Davis is what ended up winning him the fight. Yes, it was a knockout, so of course the power came into play, but the way he was set up, the way he cornered him, the way that he ended up making Frank Martin stay in one position so that he could find the knockout, aka the boxing IQ, is what won him the match. And again, listen, go back and watch my prediction before the fight. Go watch what we both said. We called it. Down to the round, I emphasized the way that people underestimate Gervonta Tank Davis's boxing IQ. And now all of a sudden everyone else, even the professional commentators are falling in line and saying exactly what I said. Listen, it was a great performance by both of them. Honestly, my hat's off. Again, Frank has nothing to be ashamed of. He fought a great fight. Again, not sure what else the man could have done. But listen, I think it was a good fight for both of them. I think they're both going to move on to better things. Frank did a lot better than some of the more popular names that have fought Tank Davis. So good on him. What do you think about that, my man?
Listen, man, the obvious thing would be to pour the champagne on Gervonta Tank Davis and even throw flowers away. And yes, that is the obvious answer. And yes, I will get to that in a moment because that's the obvious thing that we need to take care of first and foremost. I will, however, say there is, again, a lot exhibited in this fight, not just in the ring, but after the match was said and done, that again we have to give a lot of credit to Frank Martin on. For one thing, go back and watch the fight, you will see, yes, he actually did outpace Gervonta in a lot of regards. Hell, I would even say his gas tank is a little underappreciated given the fact that into the 7th round, the man was still snapping jabs and putting a lot of venom into his punches that would have still held the same venom as in the first round. So his gas tank is underappreciated off the rip for Frank Martin. The other thing is, look, he capitalized more than I did. But yes, this entire boxing match was a chess match. And it looks like Frank Martin, even when he was on defensive most of the time, which again, that's more of a hats off to Tank Davis more than anything. But Frank Martin was very aware of most of the positions that he was in. The problem was that Tank Davis was just able to corner this man and pressure him. And there was multiple times where he got him into one corner. Frank Martin got out of the corner and only found himself into another corner. And then he found himself into another corner. It was his situation of out of the frying pan and into the fire. It was one of those things where there was no knock on Frank Martin's ring IQ. It's just Tank Davis's IQ is just that much better. But look, even then, even if his IQ is better than Frank Martin, the fact of the matter is Frank Martin knew what position he was, knew he was in trouble, and knew as best as he got out of it. And look, he was able to clear, I think it was in the second or third round, he was able to clear half the ring. And again, he was able to give as much venom as he was able to do in the first round. So again, either he has damn good stamina management or he has just that much of a gas tank that, again, we underappreciate, that we need to give Frank Martin his credit for. And again, I've said this to you before in the fight. Frank Martin I wouldn't say has a dissected boxing style. However, he was able to at least cut through the defense of Gervonta Tank Davis. And again, you could say it's angling. You could say maybe he just has that much power in it. The fact of the matter is he was able to cut through defense. We can't just walk past that. We can't just walk past the fact that he was able to cut through defenses like that. And look, besides all of that, besides his performance in the ring, which again, I feel like because he lost, that we're going to undercut that performance right then and there. But again, I want to say first and foremost, again, I want to give my roses to Frank Martin for his performance in the ring. However, his performance outside of the ring, his accepting a loss, accepting where he fell short, accepting that, look, he was just a better man tonight. Honestly, because of his candor outside of the ring and in that in-ring interview, honestly, it's made me much more of a fan of Frank Martin than I already was prior to the match. It's because of that conduct that made me look at Frank Martin a different way and think to myself, okay, I definitely need to tune into this man's matches a lot more, because not only did he exhibit a lot more inside the ring than I would have given him credit for, and to be honest, I feel like a lot of people exhibit a lot more than people would give him credit for, but even his candor outside of the match showed, yes, this man actually is a lot more than people gave him credit for. But what do you think about analysis? Am I off in that, or what do you agree with?
Listen, man, I completely agree with you that Tank Martin is a man, bro. He's like, hey, look, he was just a better man. He beat me. He cornered me. I slowed down. It is what it is. He said no excuses. He got me. So shout out to Frank Martin for being a man and not sitting there making excuses like a lot of other boxers do. One thing that he touched on that I wanted to touch on a little bit more is, listen, man, the angles that Frank Martin was using. He would 1-2, jump over to an angle, jump 2, over to an angle, and then pop out. I thought he was doing phenomenal. His footwork was phenomenal. And don't get me wrong, everyone knows that his footwork was phenomenal, but I feel like it was really on display, especially with someone like Gervonta Tank Davis that has such a high ring IQ despite what people believe about him. It really demonstrated. And again, listen, he, like you said, he got cut in there. He cut through the defense a lot of times, which showed on the mark on Tank Davis's face after the match. So shout out to Frank Martin for being such a phenomenal master of his craft, master of the footwork, master of what it is, because he was great at cutting not just through the defense, but cutting through the bullying tactics of a Gervonta Tank Davis. Again, he came up short, but if I'm being honest, listen, again, I said it a few times, I don't know if there was anything else that Frank Martin could have done, because everything he was doing was great. He was kept moving, great counters, great fucking counters. He was cutting through the defense, like you said. He was using the jab very, very effectively to keep Gervonta at bay, which worked for a good amount of the time. It was actually a triple jab, 1, 2, 3. So he was doing great. Honestly, there's nothing that I could pinpoint to say, hey, this is the one thing that he could have done better. What Gervonta has is what Deontay Wilder has, but Gervonta is better than Deontay because, yeah, Gervonta has the equalizer, just like Deontay had the equalizer, but Gervonta is actually a master of the ring ship. He's a master of the ring IQ. So shout out to Gervonta. Shout out to Frank Martin as well. It was a phenomenal fight. Honestly, definitely worth the money we paid for the fight to go ahead and watch it. And listen, I'm going to be watching a lot more Frank Martin fights. I can't wait for next Gervonta Tank Davis fight. There's a number of names that got mentioned. Shakur, Pitbull Cruz, Vasil Lomachenko, which I would love to see that. I would love to see that match. We'll definitely see. Either way, it was a great fight, great performance by both guys. Shout out to both of them. They deserve every fucking penny that they're gonna get in that performance. Anything else you want to add to that, my man?
I think that's it for me.
And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.